Hello everyone, I am Luke, and welcome to the 37th/40th Battle of the Promethean Directive, where we have a brick arrow fleet alongside the very last forces that will participate from the Starved Coalition/Black Empire, up against a city defense created by Tarnish Heart for the Sandstorm Horde. To the best of my public knowledge, this force from Brick was bought and as a mercenary kind of force and sent to go kill Sandstorm until it died. And we'll see one battle where it does not die, and then a second battle where it does. So it kind of accomplishes both of its goals. I mentioned earlier the weird battle numbering and also the thing about this being the last battle with the Starved Coalition/Black Empire. That's because they quit the turn after this, and as a result, they don't get the privilege of having their battles published. Because I'm not going to bother to put effort in when people won't put effort in on their side. So those two battles will remain in the archive, and in the memory of those who watched it live. And those also got de-cannoned as well. So Tarnish was given compensation for his forces that got destroyed, and they were placed back on the map. In general, if someone quits and it's not for a good reason, I will do my best to remove you from as much of history as is feasible, which is, in my opinion, the best way to disincentivize quitting, and also to create like lore-friendly interactions, because the longer I can make you having not existed, the easier it is for you to suddenly vanish, as was the case here. If you're wondering what like a valid reason to quit would be, it would be like if you have a sudden life event change where you no longer have time, or if the game is very detrimental to your mental health or something. Rage quitting because stuff does not go your way, or because you don't like the rules that you should have known about when you joined, or you don't like how the game is set up that you should have known about when you joined from just reading the description, then that is entirely on you. And yeah. Anyways, so this is a battle with like something like 100 aircraft, about 70 from Brick, and then quite a few Gnats as from the Tarnish side, from the Sandstorm side, and then some other drones from the Black Empire side, which do admittedly have some cool parachuting penguin missiles, or glide bombs, I guess. Like, their forces looked good. It's just too bad that they wanted a tournament-style thing run like a tournament, but unfortunately, I do not have the time nor the inclination to run this like a tournament. There is no tournament out there that is running as many battles per week as I am, with as many blueprints submitted as I have, with as many players as I have, with as many active messages getting sent, and that's without even talking about all of the non-battle stuff going on, like the roleplay, the events, the code for setting up the battles and everything. Like, it is completely infeasible to run this in a tournament format with tournament thoroughness as far as battle setup and everything goes, just because of the complexity of the game and the scale at which it is run. I could not review the 600 blueprints that I have in my 15 megabyte folder, because that's just not reasonable, even with my entire battle team going on it. It would take way too long. And because of that, I have an expectation of people to be good and follow the rules, and if I find people are not following the rules, then punishment is swift and merciless. Unless it is reasonably obvious that they did it on accident, in which case punishment does its best to undo the damage caused, but will not be punitive. But yeah, almost everyone playing this game is in it for fun, not to be able to brag that they have won the Promethean Directive, which no one should be in that mindset, because you really can't. It's not like a winnable thing. In my opinion, you win if you survive to the end without crashing out or rage quitting. Which means there are still quite a few losers of the Promethean Directive, but a lot of winners as well. Or you can win if you just give your faction a good showing. Even if you lose every battle, if your blueprints look cool and your diplomacy and lore are nice and interesting, then people will still be happy with it. All right, over to part 2 now. This is battle number 40, because of course we cut out those other 2, where this force is now continuing up against another city from the Sandstorm Horde side. So we've got, again, the big flying wing and the reduced air wings, but all of the surviving Black Empire forces, of course, are gone at this point. This is also the very first battle that was recorded without me present, so great job to the battle filmers and event helpers who got that working while I was moving into a house and cleaning it and all kinds of similar stuff like that. In this battle, Sandstorm have a much bigger force, including some naval assets, which is going to be why they're able to do a lot better, and they're no longer nearly so terribly outcosted. That little pause there was the default settings getting swapped because it was on full 100% auto detect and getting brought down to the 0.1, which is meant to be, because seemingly that is a recurring issue that we have, as showcased by the battles that I just ran today, where I had it at 10 times damage and also 100% auto detect. And in this case, that obviously got rectified pretty quickly, so not an issue, and it would have been a relatively symmetric advantage because both sides have small drones and both sides have big craft. Obviously, it's preferred not to have those get entered wrong, but if they are, it's not economical to redo the entire battle unless it is obvious that it was unfair because of that disparity. If neither side has an issue, or if it's pretty obvious that there wasn't a fairness difference, then there's no reason to rerun it. Obviously it'd be ideal to, but we don't have the time to rerun hours-long battles when we're running 10 or more battles in a half-week period. And not just like basic 2 lines of the identical ships. These are complex fleet battles that take like 20 minutes to set up usually. Between figuring out the fleet compositions, getting them prepared, locating the information about them, getting the blueprints together, and then actually spawning the stuff in on the right teams, in the right location on the map. So keep your eyes on this guy. This is the big flying wing. Arsenal bird, I think, is the colloquial term that came out of Ace Combat and or Project Wingman. Once this guy is killed, then the remaining drones have no way to survive because they need to use this guy as a carrier. So if it's killed, the drones may be able to avenge it, but they will not be able to survive and do anything else. And you'll also notice throughout the battle that this guy actually brings the drones back to it to repair when they get low on health, which is really cool. And which has never resulted in Allied forces getting teleported 3 million meters away before, which is nice. From here on out, we can see pretty much this guy is just flying around and occasionally getting shot at. There's a bunch of random stuff that's taking pot shots at him. You can see the gnat nest right there is spawning gnats. Spawning or repairing, honestly, I don't know which. I think repairing. Yep, there you go. You see another one get pulled in. Only the highest of recording qualities for TPD, guys. Only the highest. I've figured out how to record voiceovers pretty effectively in DaVinci Resolve, but I've not figured out how to, like, get them to easily do anything other than just a single straight voiceover, so I'm not going to bother to redo that part. Yeah, I really wish that I was a no-life and didn't work a job and had someone else to do all the cooking and cleaning for me, but right now I am doing a lot of stuff that prevents me from doing TPD for more than about like 4 or 5 hours a day, which is not enough time to run it. It's workable with the size and competency of staff that I have, but I'm not able to do everything to the quality that I would like in an ideal situation, such as more competent and edited voiceovers and videos, and a lot more time dedicated to supervising the team, getting things consistent, trying to preempt and avoid rule breaks and crash outs and things like that. I just don't have the time that I had to dedicate to this last summer, or that I would like to have in an ideal world. Anyway, Arsenal Bird is down. And this thing is actually a unique light aircraft, but because it is so large and nuclear powered, it's been given the exception to the requirement to land at a base every turn. Which honestly, I don't know where the rule lies for if it's considered killed if it crashes. I assume it still is. And I believe that's the rule which the battle foamer / event runner will enact momentarily, and also to avoid the battle taking forever. But yeah, I think that is a ruling that makes sense, because that thing's not going to get off the ground again, especially with only one prop left. And anything frail enough to be a light aircraft that's hitting the ground at any velocity, or hitting the water anyways, will not be coming back up again. So I do support the action of despawning this guy as soon as we get to that part of the video. And also because it's a drone ship, it's going to keep bringing stuff back and repairing it and then releasing it, and maybe they'll be able to fly, sometimes they won't. But that would just make the battle last a lot longer than it needs to. So this guy gets despawned, and now I've cut through huge sections of time just because we're nearing the end of the battle. And it's just a lot of time for the gnats, the stationary wall, and the Naga and Namazus to be shooting down drones. That's really all there is to the rest of this battle. And cool while those kind of battles may sometimes be, they take forever and are pretty hard to show on camera, because they're spread out over a huge area, the craft are tiny and hard to keep track of, and they're not easily visually distinguished from each other, unless you've got some like super obvious bright tracers or flame trails or lasers. But even then, we've got like half of those things I just mentioned. You still can't tell who's who. But yep, just slow atrophy amongst both sides, but mainly brick. The Sandstorm Horde forces are pretty well optimized, I think, for anti-aircraft. They're not like fantastic by any means, because they don't have hit scan, but for stuff using APS only pretty much, they're pretty good. The Gnats are turret fighters, which are really cool. I've never really seen anyone do turret fighters that small. I tried it once myself, but I was not at all satisfied, and I ended up with a super bulky and terrible aircraft that just did not perform at all. I think there's an art to building small APS that I do not know. But yep, here we can see there's a decent number of drones left, but not a huge number. And then we're going to check back again shortly, and we'll see there's only one left, and at that point we just end the battle. Just despawning some that were downed and just going to delay things, which has also got my endorsement. If stuff isn't contributing to the battle and will be despawned at the end of it, then it's usually fine to just despawn it. Sometimes it's cool to leave as a decoy force, but when we're trying to limit battle times and it's going to take forever, then it's best to just delete it. I didn't even actually get the live recording of this because it took so long. I just know that the in-game recording was like 15 minutes before I cut it down. And yeah, I would not want to be sitting there for an hour and a half watching little drones in the water slowly get shot at. Again, part of why this isn't a full tournament format, it is we do things as efficiently as can be done without compromising the reasonableness of the results. Everything's really a compromise between time, realism, and fairness, and we do our best to get a good result. But that is all for this one. You can see in the next pick there's only one guy left, and that is all. Thanks for watching.